brought us in like a champ. Just floated right into the dock. Gonna fill her up. Get the heck out of here. Okay, thank you. So I gotta watch it like a hawk because the shutoff doesn't really work. Don't know why, I'm just told that's just the way it is. $2.29 for the gasoline, diesel, and I gave her a $2 tip for running the lines, and we probably won't see gas that cheap for quite some time.
Maybe gas is cheap in
it may be in Panama. I had this idea in my head at one point that it was cheaper to fill up at a gas station, but actually the marina fuel is dyed red because it's not for on-road, so there's less taxes. So it's actually cheaper to fill up here than it is to fill up at the normal gas station.
So drive your car up to the dock is what you're telling me?
That's not legal. Autopilot's working. We are cruising 7.5 knots.
Woo! What's our wind? How much wind do we have?
We have 12 of apparent and 13 of true.
Nice.
90-degree angle, so the wind's like coming right from there on our beam. Be a nice, comfortable ride down to Miami. Little R&R, and then a lot of planning. The big one's coming. And I'm not talking babies or poops. We've been out to sea for half an hour. What does Nikki have to do?
It's our inaugural sail. We have to have ice cream.
What are you eating?
Coffee, chocolate chip, and Ben & Jerry's Urban Bourbon.
Yummy.
It's heaven.
And the crew approves?
I think it's tradition. Bourbon cottage, you know it.
It's really good.
We are leaving for good this time, I hope. Fort Lauderdale, Dania Beach back there. That's Hollywood there. And I don't know what this city is. They all kind of look the same to me. But we are cruising, baby. Justin and his little fish.
I said someone else should take over.
Little amberjack. Aww. Okay, hold on.
Nice. Tell your friends all about us.
That was not the most graceful or kind release, but
haha, selfie mode. Okay, gimbal, there we go. How's it going over here?
good. I am trying to pair the watch to the GPS so that I can control the autopilot from the watch.
We have made it to Miami. There it is, bienvenido a Miami. We are going just past, over there, to, where are we going again?
Key Biscayne?
Biscayne Bay, yeah. Alright, we'll be there shortly.
You like that, Cleo? Oh. Want to get a double-double? Or just a single-double?
Alright, we made it to Miami, and we're anchored. Gonna chill and hang out. Made ourselves some lovely Arnold Palmers. Enjoy the evening, and then first thing tomorrow morning, get up, get to business, and plan our sail to Panama. Plan the sail to Panama. Say that 3 times fast.
Cheers, Nikki.
Cheers. Cheers.
Cheers.
We didn't want to get the chair salty.
Okay.
Yes, I'm recording this time.
This is take two.
Take two, man.
And, you know, it's only summertime in Florida, so we're sitting here
sweating. The current's a little stronger than the wind,
Spitzing
so
away.
there's like no breeze in here, but
No.
I'm sure it's only going to get worse the further we get south. So suck it up. But it hasn't stopped us from planning our route because, well, it's time to go.
A month passed,
Yeah.
time to go. And before we had, the whole dilemma is how to get to Panama. Which route do we take? And before we had this grand idea of we, you know, basically head straight to Mexico.
Go to
We were
the
gonna hit
Yucatan.
go to the Yucatan, hit up Belize, you know, all these stops along the way. But now that we are so far behind, not behind, just service took longer than expected, it changes our plans. That's okay, that's the way it goes. So now we are going back to the drawing board because we're ready to go,
Yeah.
and it's time to make a decision on
Which way we're going.
which route.
And I'll read you this little excerpt from the World Cruising Routes from Jimmy Cornell. He says, "The greatest dilemma faced by anyone planning a voyage from Florida to the countries bordering the Caribbean Sea is whether to set sail east or west of Cuba. Boats setting off from northern Florida are probably better off sailing through the Bahamas and the Windward Passage to reach Central America. The answer is not so simple for boats leaving from southern Florida."
Which is where we are. And the reason being is it's kind of, it's so similar either way. It's not like a clear-cut choice. And we've asked so many different delivery captains and everything
Sailors that
else.
have done it many times through the Mono Passage around the east and the west of Cuba, or the Windward Passage, which is all the way out to the islands.
Exactly. Trying to get an opinion on if there's a preferred route. And everybody essentially responds with the same thing that that book says, which is you can go either way. It's really tough to decide, and it is kind of weather dependent.
Yeah. And how fast and how much of a beating you want to take is another thing they kind of throw in there to, which is
Yeah.
where we stand right now. Nikki and
Yep.
I still aren't 100% positive where we're going or which way we're going. But
Oh.
it's no longer just an us decision.
Now we've got 2 crew members on board, so we need to take their opinions into account too and make sure that everybody's good with the route that we choose.
Yeah. So we'll invite them in. We'll show you exactly what we're using to plan our route, and hopefully it'll give you a little insight into why we're doing what we're doing, or
Why we choose the route we do.
and hopefully it's the right route.
Doesn't mean it's the right choice, it's just a choice.
Yeah. All right, crew. We have 3 cameras rolling to hopefully document so you can see everything that we're seeing. That's why. Okay. Where are we starting?
Okay. Well, first maybe we should show our 2 route options.
Okay.
Okay? We could go, point out our route, Jason.
Okay, if you're looking at the wind, we can go this way or this way here through the Bahamas. And if you're just looking at wind, it's basically the same. Like, it doesn't seem like there's an advantage to going one way or the other.
But when we take into account the currents,
So this would be our route here, coming around Cuba. You can see we're fighting this current, and these really long arrows are, I guess, showing that it's really bad current, like a lot of current, because this is the Gulf Stream that comes up. Otherwise, we come around this way, and you see little tiny arrows until we get here, which will be sailing this way, so we won't be beating into them. And that's a huge consideration.
right, because the Gulf Stream is a very strong current, which could slow us down a lot if we're heading directly into it. So that is the dilemma of, do we want to go against the stream, or do we want to take the slightly longer route with less resistance as far as the current goes?
Yeah, the shorter route would obviously be around the west coast of Cuba. But the longer route would be potentially more comfortable.
So
We're using Predict Wind to help us with departure planning, plan our route, give us an idea of how long the sail will take.
Right. The first one that I've done is the weather routing. So weather routing takes into account everything, like swell, current, wind, the whole shebang. And then just going from point A to point B says, here are your route options based on the different wind predictions. And obviously it's also giving us both route options as well. Yeah. So not extremely helpful.
Yeah, you can see here, there's the one route, and most of the models are saying we can go that way, but there's one saying we can go this way.
Yeah, and when we flip over to the tables, right, so we look at the summary, you can see that the time taken, there's not like a huge difference in time. We're talking like 12 to 24 hours is the difference between all the routes. With the, which one was that? That was the blue route, was the one that takes you through the Bahamas. So it is the most time, and it is the longest passage, but not by like a huge gigantic number.
Yeah. And then the biggest thing is time upwind, time reaching, time downwind. Obviously downwind sailing is our most comfortable way to sail. And this one has the most downwind sailing compared to the others. And the worst and the least comfortable would be upwind.
Right.
So this one,
which is the red one, which is one of those options, which means we could end up
beating 50% of the time.
And not only beating, but beating against the Gulf Stream, which would be quite uncomfortable. It would make for a rocky ride.
So that's what's really kind of nerve-wracking for me, is trying to beat across
the Gulf Stream,
the whole way, and beat against it.
I think the only thing that even puts that route as an option is because we don't have any crazy wind or weather headed our way. Looking at Windy, there's really nothing coming off of that coast of Africa right now that would send stuff up our direction and into our zone. There's potential for it to be just fine and be the faster route, but there's also potential for it to be the most uncomfortable ride. And is it worth a day of sailing, or do we just go for the most comfortable route and take a day longer?
Which one will have more fish?
Excellent question.
That's the other thing we have to figure out, is if we cruise through the Bahamas, then we have protection here and there to stop if we need to. If we need to duck out of a storm, we'll probably have to buy a cruising permit, so it'll be $150 to cruise the Bahamas for like a month or something.
Not that we'll actually stick around for that.
We don't want to stop too much in the Bahamas because we need to get far south so we can be safe out of the hurricane zone.
Yeah, so I mean at this point we need to just get there.
Yeah.
So it's keep going. Yeah. Not really any
probably
stopping.
The lesser comfortable route would be better fishing, but it's going to be so uncomfortable we might not feel safe to catch the fish or bring them in.
If we were on that beating route and there was steep waves because of the Gulf Stream, then it'd be so much of this that pulling in fish could be a challenge.
Could be.
Right. It also could be totally fine. All right. So taking into account those two routes, how many votes are for going the against the stream option?
Get there a day faster, catch more fish.
Get there a day faster, and possibly catch more fish.
How close to the coast do we get to come if we go the Bahamas Jamaica route?
So looking at the weather routing, it's showing, if I zoom into the Bahamas portion, you can kind of see...
It has us going under Andros, which is right here.
Yeah.
But I also think we might be able to go this way. That's what most people do. They come out over here and they come down this way.
Okay, so what I did was I also used, I did departure planning, just trying to figure out when would be the best time frame for us to leave based on the weather. And if we zoom into those options, into the Bahamas, you can see it's a lot of variables, but there are different route options based off of the weather. And they aren't drastically different. So we could really choose any one of these and probably be pretty good.
But even still, most people come this way and then go down here.
But it's not telling us to do that because it adds too much time onto our route. So I don't think we want to go that way. But if anything, we're not really staying very close to the Bahamas. We're actually staying much closer to Cuba. So we'd be right off the coast of Cuba, really.
Yeah.
Cool, yeah.
One of the concerns that we had talked about was the shallow waters for night cruising if we did go the Bahamas route. So would that come into play and add on some time if we didn't want to cruise at night?
Potentially, depending on the route that we choose.
Yeah, so let's go in and look at the chart because we can see the depths, and that's a very good point.
Because if it's going to prohibit us from sailing at night, then it's going to add on a few extra days as well.
Exactly. So if we kind of look at the route hovering the coast of Cuba, we see that there is a shipping lane there. That was my concern. So we have to stay away from that shipping lane because we don't want to be in that traffic at all. Which does put us, what we could do is ride the edge of where that deep water and that shallow water is though, and that could be very good fishing and would keep us in deeper water if we were right on the edge of that, which means we don't have to worry about the shallows. Let's just make sure that goes the whole route. So if we just decided to cruise the coast of Cuba pretty much the whole way, it looks like mostly deeper water. I think one of the routes we looked at earlier,
I think that was the one you were talking about over
yeah.
Pedro's.
So whenever I'd looked at it before, it did route us that way because we had stronger winds coming through at that point, and it routed us that way, and it was going through those shallows. And I was like, man, that's not.
Yeah.
I don't want to navigate 10 feet of water at night
Yeah.
in the Bahamas. So I think if we hug the coast of Cuba, and that's what it's telling us to do right now based off of the weather, then I think it's good, and it actually could be really good fishing.
Yeah.
Potentially. Dale's like, yay! I love it. I love it. Okay, so then based off of that,
So, but it looks like lighter winds, and we're going head to wind there. We're not beating against the current. But yeah. So needless to say, there's a lot of variables still to take into consideration, and we really won't know until we kind of get en route, and then the predictions for the weather is 24, 48 hours. We can't really trust anything more.
yeah, it's just a
Just a guess.
yeah. I mean,
obviously.
it's a prediction,
Yeah.
so it is that word prediction,
Yeah.
not a guarantee. So it could change, but either way, the good thing about going the Bahamas route is, or hugging that coast of Cuba, is the fact that if we get any weather and that weather does change, it gives us somewhere to go and hide, to duck out.
I know my vote.
What is it?
Whichever one includes the most fish.
I like the hug the coast.
Yeah.
It'd be cool.
We can't get too close. We have to be like 15 miles off.
Yeah.
So.
Otherwise, you have to check in, right? Or
But then we're in their waters.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And I don't think our government wants us in their waters unless we report it.
Yeah.
Your government's
We're
fine
Canadian.
with
We
it.
go anywhere.
Okay, so I guess that's our general consensus is hug the coast of Cuba.
Okay.
Weather
Everybody's
permitting.
Yeah.
yeah, weather permitting. Everybody's dandy with that.
I'm
I'm
happy
gonna-
either way.
I'm gonna go back and look at the emails we got from the other captains just to make sure, see what they say and take that into account too. But
Yeah, pretty much
we have to
everybody
trust our
said.
devices, and we have to trust the tools we have in our hands. So
Yeah, I mean, based off of weather right now,
yeah.
even it's routing us that direction with one of them.
Yeah.
And either way, it's so close.
Yeah. And percentage downwind is trumps everything.
Well, not everything,
Well.
but yeah. But yes, I agree. It
Yeah.
would be the most comfortable, and it would make for a fun sail. We could do lots of stuff while we're underway.
And light winds, it's predicting, so that means a lot of spinnaker.
Yeah, none said max wind over 20.
Yeah. So if it went exactly like that, it means it showed our average. Let me go back to the weather routing because that one showed tables summary. So it's saying that our average speed would be around 5 knots based off of everything. So if we really did travel at an average of 5 knots, then
Yeah.
that means we're moving along. We're not just like stuck coasting at 2 knots. So
Yeah.
that would be good. I could think of worst passages
Yeah.
to have.
Okay.
Okay, so
All right.
all right, so everybody's good with that route?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we
Okay.
leave tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did the departure planning, and based off of the departure planning, when I look at the tables, I did it starting from tomorrow afternoon going forward, and it does show that, you know, tomorrow evening would be a decent time to leave. It would give us good wind speeds and everything, headed for the Bahamas.
Should check my heart rate because I think it's going up. Don't remember how to do it. Do it old school.
Okay,
Just
so,
to confirm, when we leave tomorrow, it's not for the marina, right?
not- yeah.
not for the
We're not
marina.
going to the marina.
Oh, okay. So I'll rerun that again, the routing for that time and for that route. And then we can plug that into our navigation, and I'll take screen captures and I will add that to our float plan.
Yeah.
So just to go over our float plan really quickly. Scratch that. Just kidding. We have changed our mind yet again, and we are going to go the Bahamas route. And if it were just up to me, I would already be on my way to Cuba because it is the next day now. But talking to everybody else, there is a current we would be fighting there, and we are not going to have a lot of wind, so it's potential we could end up motoring the whole thing and against a current. So we have decided to go this route instead. And that's the way it goes sometimes. You decide on something and then you look at it all again and you change your mind. And this morning the winds are even less than we thought they were going to be. So this is the safest bet. And that is what we're going to do.
Back to your regular recording.
Back to your regular scheduled programming. Okay, so now that we know our route and when we're going to leave, I will send our float plan to all of our designated peeps. So I've got a good description of our vessel along with our registration number, our MMSI number, hull ID number, and a photo of the boat. I've got all of our dinghy information, including registration,
insurance.
hull number, ID number, and
include
engine.
the details on the post.
I will include the details on the post, but still some people want to know what's on here, right?
Just click to our
Yes.
website and you can see what's on there. It's just her reading, it's not going to help.
Oh no, okay, well the insurance for the boat and the
There you
dinghy.
Yes.
A list of our crew, including passport, photos, and emergency contact information, insurance info, our Iridium Go information, our sail plan, obviously including a screen capture of our route, estimated departure date and arrival date, and first port of call. All of our safety equipment aboard, which includes our life raft information and description, EPIRBs, AIS, MOB, and Garmin InReach.
This thingy here, and we tested it on our sail down from Miami. We plan to share our map with our patrons kind of as part one of the test, and then probably we'll go more public with it. But this will
If it
drop,
works.
yeah, if it works. This will drop little breadcrumbs every half hour or so, so then people can follow along our route if they're part of our patron feed. That's the plan anyway, if it works.
Yes. And then if it works for that, then we'll probably add it to our website so everybody can follow along. But just in case it's
Them our
not
guinea pigs.
working, that way we don't have a bunch of people going like, what happened? They dropped off the face of the planet. So anyway, and of course all of our family and friends so they can keep track. Okay, so am I missing anything?
I don't think so.
I think so.
We have like, well, what, 20 hours or so before we depart. So we've got to start making food, like snacky stuff, hummus, black bean dip, Texas caviar,
Okay.
yogurt,
Mm-hmm.
bread. We gotta get busy.
Okay. Yeah. Anything else? I think that. Otherwise, we're ready to go, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
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 are
You're
ready.
like, a month ago, we were ready to go.
So click over to the website. We'll put a lot more detail there. And thanks for everyone for joining us along for the adventure.
If you liked this video, make sure to give us a thumbs up, leave us a comment. It helps us out tremendously.
Yes.
And yeah, thanks for following along. We will try to make frequent
Tweets. We can tweeter. We can Twitter. We can post to Twitter
We can post to Twitter
from
and,
this thingy.
and to Facebook, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Text only probably. So follow us along on those 2 channels.
We'll give updates.
Maybe in the future we can do like Instagram. That would be awesome. But the technology's just not there for our budget.
Yeah. And that's that.
That's it.
Yeah.
See you guys.
Bye.
Oh, yeah, you are in the shot. Okay, good. I was like, wait a minute. I don't think you're in the shot.